Mr. Jerome Powell, do us a huge favor. Quit waiting around. The data's there. I know you're scared, but time, my friend. It is time to land the plane. It's time to cut the rates. It's time to cut the crap. You and I know, you especially know the data. And if you're looking at unemployment, if that's your big thing, what would your response be to 700,000 people that fell out of the workforce, that are not looking for a job? Why are they not included in the number? Your unemployment number would be skyrocketing. You know that, and I know that. The consumer's slowing. The big businesses, they are starting to cut their workforce. Oh, do you want me to keep going? Inflation. Inflation at the end of the year, your guess was 3.9. It came in at 2.9. Yes, GDP came higher, but I'm sure that could be explained because you and I know that there's some probably funny numbers in there. The housing market is in a recession for the third year. We have no inventory. Rates are super high. They need to come down a little bit lower to get things moving. And we're waiting on you. And we're supposed to believe you, sir. We are supposed to sit here and believe that you have this all figured out. Because last time, on 2021 of June, when CPI was over 5%, you took almost a year to land that plane. A year to stop keeping rates, boom, foot on the gas and rates low. So how do we know you're not going to be late to this party? How do we know you're going to take too long? Is really June? You have to wait till June? Why not March? Why not get the party started? What are you so scared about? That's what we all want to know. Because the real estate market really needs some love because we are tired of getting our asses handed to us. So, Mr. Powell, that is my message to you from all of us in the real estate community. Cut the rates, cut the BS. It's time. The data is there. The data supports it. You know it. We know it. Let's go, hombre. Vamos. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Yes, this is another week. It's another episode. And guess what? My name is Kenny Simpson, and you're watching The Brief. All right, so guys, I've got a lot of stuff to unpack this week. It is a crazy week. We've got a lot of data about jobs report. We've got data. The Fed's going to talk about rates. We've got earnings starting this week. We are ready to start the year. It's happening. We're moving, we're grooving. But we all know we are literally year 3 and the inventory is not moving. It's time to cut rates before we're too late. Because what will they probably do? And at least I'm on video and I say this. I won't be surprised if they let it go too far, they're too late, the cuts aren't good enough, and then they got to go in for a big old cut your leg off, cut the rates, 100 basis points. But guys, that's what we don't want. Why wait till the end? Just slowly start the process, psychologically, the whole thing. The other thing you can help us out with, Mr. Jerome Powell, is the spread between the 10-year, 30-year. Bring it down. Bring the confidence market. Let's bring that down. That would help rates naturally just come down. We take 100 basis points off these rates right now. We'd be in the 5s. What are we waiting on? So we're supposed to believe you that you're right. We really are. I don't agree with it at all. People can say whatever they want. It's in the data. But speaking of data, speaking of getting into it, let's go, folks. Inventory. Last week, this gets good, guys. Last week was 506,414 nationally. This week, we are down 503,233. Wait a minute, we're supposed to be going this way. Why are we going this way? Not good. San Diego was 2,700. We're at 2,725. We picked up nothing. New listings is 446 and sold 243. Not good. Rates are still relatively flat week over week. The 10-year treasury, if we shoot this, I believe is around 4.1. It's going around 4.1. Hasn't hit 4.25. I think the 10-year range right now is living somewhere in the 390s to 4.1 something, right? That's where we keep seeing going around. But we need data. We need something to break. We need data to change. But it's changing. But the Fed is not changing. They're so stubborn. They're so scared. They are so worried about it. You know what? Staying alive. Staying alive. Woo, woo. Ooh, I'm staying alive. It's not about staying alive. They're worried about the 70s replaying an act. I don't even know if that movie was filmed in the 70s. I hope it was. Good old John Travolta. They're worried about staying alive. They're worried about the ego. They are. It's all about, we're going to have the 70s. Inflation, if you go back the 3 months, It's under 2. What are we doing? They like want deflation. They want this thing. They want the wheels to come off. Like, look at, guys, just sit back and look at what's going on. Where jobs are getting lost. The consumer has slowed down tremendously. Like, we all know, we all feel. We are not consuming like we were a year ago. Like, right? It's just, we can sense it all over. Talk to anybody. What are you doing? CNBC projects by 2025, 5%-ish rates. I agree with that. I think we are getting slower, but look, when this thing comes, it's going to come because the data is showing things are slowing down. But like I said, rates, when they come, they're going to hit. If you're in the commercial space and you've been getting your ass kicked, which I'm sorry, because Jerome Powell should be bailing. The government should give you guys a stimulus check, honestly. You guys have gotten your ass handed to you. Like, they literally talk about a depression. Guys, if you're in the commercial, there's people that are down 30, 50, 70% their business. It's hard. Nothing makes sense. But when these rates drop and when it makes sense, you guys are going to have income, in my projection. If you're ready, if you're set up, if you're ready for it, and you got to be, you can make in 2-3 years, like 6 years of income. No joke, because there's so much pent up demand. There's so much stuff that has so many refis, so many purchases, so many 1031s, so many people are going to move on deals. I think it's going to be nutso. And for residential, if rates are in the 5s, I don't have to tell you guys. You already know what that means. If you're a first-time home buyer, if you're a real estate investor or anybody, you know what's going to happen when rates are in the 5s. We are not going to get the inventory, but we are going to get a shit ton. And yes, I said shit. A shit ton, whatever ton that is, of literally buyers off the market. They are coming in hot. We're going to get the refi boom. It's going to be nuts. So if you're in the real estate business, you better be ready with your technology, with your team, your support. You better be ready, because if you've been slow and haven't been closing deals, your turn is coming. Yes, it is. So thank goodness. So what is the list of data this week? We've got jobs report. We got job openings. We got ADP report. We got initial jobless claims. We got employment rate. We got wages. We're starting earnings season, consumer confidence, IMS manufacturing, Fed rate decision. Holy moly, that is ridiculous. It's going to be a lot of data. So depending on the data will depend on the rates. If the data is bad, the rates go low. If the data is good, our rates maybe tick up a little bit, but not much, because the bond market, the people, they're not buying anymore, guys, because they know what's going on. They know the data's going, they know inflation's. It's just taking forever. It's like that Fed. They just take forever doing it. So what's going on out there in the news? What is going on? I don't really know, but let's take a look and see what is going on. Well, if you live in China, this is Monday I'm shooting this on. Today, the big news is Evergrande, will be liquidated. Time will tell us means, but hundreds of thousands of people gave them money to go put into, like, build towers of condos, let's just call it. So imagine you live in San Diego. We gave a big developer a bunch of money, whatever, how much that is. I don't know what the money is. Let's just say you gave them a deposit. You gave more deposit. I don't know how they worked there. You gave them all the money. I don't know. And they're supposed to build high rises, like, for hundreds of thousands of people. So remember, China has over 1 billion people. So we're talking imagine like all of downtown. It'd be like that much. And they just didn't build it. And then they ran out of money. And the money they have debt on, they can't afford because they couldn't finish the projects. Nobody ever moved into the condos. Nobody ever sold them. Nobody ever rented them. And I believe 90% of all these condos or whatever that were built that have debt on them, like 90% of the people are not paying. It's insane. So China is going through it. I think our housing crisis is $800 billion problem. I think China has a $4 trillion problem. I know they have more people, but that's a lot of problems. That's a lot of money, and that could affect and leak into other parts of the world. Yes, China has to be in a recession. They have to be hurting. They were locked down for COVID. They came out. It's just been a tough go around there. But there are people that invested here in Evergrande into that fund, pensions, retirements, all that type of stuff. So there are people who are going to get hurt. And there's probably pennies or crumbles from the cookie left over to get money back at the end of all this. So who knows? But the judge got upset and said, enough's enough. We gave you enough time. It's time to liquidate and move on. Look, this is a lose for home builders. It's a lose for China, the economy, everybody. Nobody wants anybody to ever fail at this level. They're so big. It's just not good. It's like a massive, massive builder here failing. It's just not good. Jobs get lost. It's just it's never good. It just sucks, you know? It really stinks if you're in the real estate market. So core PC, let's look at it. That is what the feds look at. I know I mentioned before, that was supposed to come in at 3.9. End of the year, it came in at 2.9. Whoopsie daisies, you missed that one. Last year is at 4.9. It is 0.9% away from the target. We're approaching the target quickly. GDP was came in at 3.3. It's expected 2%. That came in higher. I don't know why. I'm sure there's some underlying issues. So that did not help rates. That's not helping the feds. But the feds can clearly see what's going on. They're not stupid. They're very smart people. They really are. They just are stubborn. They're worried about the 70s. They got this election. They got all this stuff. There's so much stuff going on. Like, you don't want to be a Fed official. That cannot be a fun job. All right, let's jump into some articles. Does anybody ever watch the Beverly Hills House of the Desperate Housewives of Beverly Hills? Have you ever watched that? Great, I'm glad all of you watched that. All of you. So Mauricio, from that's married to Kyle. I mean, it's sad to say I know some of these because I used to watch it, but I don't watch any of this stuff ever. I don't. You can actually ask Crystal. Mauricio, the founder of the agency and the star of Buying Beverly Hills, and agent and NAR accountability project founder Jason Haber are making good on a promise to explore real estate professional trade organization alternative to the National Association of Realtors. Two industry professionals are asking agents to trade up and give their new group, the American Real Estate Association, a try. The launch of AREA, a capital AREA, was announced on Tuesday at first report by the New York Times. Basically, these guys want to become the new NAR and get rid of them and do it right and run it right, because the NAR is probably not run right. I don't know, but these guys want to come out and start this whole thing over, which maybe is a good thing. I don't know. I'm not involved in all these politics, but they're good at running their businesses. Maybe they're good at running this, but there's probably a big journey ahead. So if you're into that and you want to support them. Why not? This is a great article. Another article from our good old buddies at Housing Wire. Okay, here we go. What to do when your buyer wants to make a low ball property offer. Number one, below, we will walk you through the 4 steps of your anti-low ball action plan. Anti-low ball action. Revisit your client's qualifications. Determine if the listing price is correctly. Educate your buyer's clients on the market and listing facts. Prepare the offer. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here you can go through and read. If you don't have Housing Wire, you should, because you can read this great stuff. But basically, guys, I will make a mention because I love this article and this little tidbit, and I thought it was good. Everybody wants to lowball an offer. But what you guys understand when you go, I'm going to go in and I'm going to lowball them. It's a place like San Diego. I think that's a great idea. That is a great idea if the property's been sitting on the market for 90 days, 60 days. But if the property just got listed and then you're like, I'm going to lowball them, I guess it. If it's a $20 million property, sure, probably a little bit differently. Go call those agents and see how that works. But if you're talking about a first-time home buyer, entry-level property, $750, $1 million, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's what it is here in San Diego, and you think you're just going to go over there and lowball, sure, go ahead. What you're going to do is you're going to end up in the trash. It doesn't make any sense. But if you do want to lowball an offer, it's been on the market for 90 days, and you're listening to this, here's a couple tips you should be ready for. Number one, if that seller accepts, you better be able to deliver on your terms. So number one, I like this. You should go back and call your lender and go, hey, I'm going to lowball. I want to make sure I'm ready to go. I can close in 10 or 50 days, because that's the offer you want to make them. Number one, offer them a quick close on that price. Number two, you better have your money lined up, ready to go. Whether it's a gift or yours, you want to show that seller that, hey, here's my offer. Yes, I know it's low, but I can close quickly. I've got the cash. Boom. Number three, make sure your lender should call that listing agent and say, hey, we can close 10 days, we can close 7 days, we can close 15. My client's ready to go. They're super qualified, whatever it is, because that seller wants confidence if they're going to accept your lowball offer. And last but not least, what it said on here is the contingencies. It's not even on here. When you're going to lowball somebody, and they think they're going to accept it because they're getting desperate and you want to go in, you need to make sure they understand that you can close quickly. You have the cash. Your lender called that seller and said they are qualified. We can close. We close fast all the time. Let's go. Let's do this. But last but not least, can you remove any contingencies? How serious can you make this? What is the overall offer? Get that thing scripted perfectly. Quick contingencies or no contingencies. put the money in, say I'll give it to you hard, whatever. Be serious, be quick, and be bold if you're going to offer, just like a flipper or wholesaler would. That's the mentality you have to have, because if you're going to go in a lowball and you're not ready and you're not serious, that they won't listen to you. Just saying. So, love this article. Thought it was great, but I wanted to share it in a different light of, if you are going to lowball, those are the things you should do. And if it's been sitting on the market, why not lowball them?
Many of them still haven't really had an opportunity to buy homes. Like, I'm Gen X, and I was able to buy a home much earlier in my life. They're waiting with, household formation, so on and so forth, showing up more around age 30. The first group is just starting to buy their homes. So there's a lot of money coming into this group. And part of it has to do just with the wage growth that they had. And the other also has to do with some of the wealth transfer that's happening at their age too. So that's all starting to come. I think there's big tailwinds that are coming from this group and the group behind them.
So this lady was talking about the millennials, 30 years old. They're buying a home a little later. Her generation, she was definitely not 30 years old. I don't know how old, probably 50s, 60s, saying that they bought much earlier. But what she is saying is the millennials and the generation behind them, the parents have money. They're going to inherit money. They're going to get gifted money. But the wave of them getting ready to come out and buy, it's going to come. So this next cycle coming around, you're going to see that big wave of those 30-year-olds, 25-somethings coming by when those rates tick down, psychology, all that. So be prepared, because they're coming. More competition. So this is an interesting article by Fortune. A crippled housing market has left Americans stranded in 40-year-old properties and unable to afford most home improvements. Now they are turning to home hardening instead. Situation is especially problematic considering American homes aren't getting any younger. In fact, 38% of homes in the U.S. were built before 1970, and the median age of homes in America is 40 years old. With aging roofs, insufficient drainage, outdated systems, probably also we know that they don't have the correct insulation, things like that. They're in desperate need of upgrades to improve unfortunately, affordability is a challenge for many Americans, especially when it comes to major renovations. Supplies and labor are prohibitively expensive, and interest rates on homes, equity lines of credit are expensive. This article goes on, and it'll be less here. My point of this whole thing, what I wanted to read, is that this is what we told our local government here in San Diego, and this is what's going around the country. We have a bunch of houses. I'm going to steal a quote from Grant Cardone. Grant, I'm going to give this to you. He said, hey, there's 5 million homes short. And he says we're more like 30 million homes short. And what? Because a lot of these homes are so old and outdated that a first-time home buyer should not buy them or can't buy them because they can't afford to buy them and fix them up. So this is why I will make this remark. This is why flippers and wholesalers and real estate investors are bashed all the time, right? We are at a local level here in San Diego. I hate to call you out. It's the rent control, it's the flipper, and you're screwing up the market. No, we're not. Sir and Miss Politician, we're not. What flippers and wholesalers and real estate investors are doing is they're taking a shitty, dilapidated property that a first-time home buyer should not buy most of the time because they don't have the resources, they don't have the connections, they don't have the time, and they don't have the money to fix it up. And we're going to let them buy it, throw them in there, and then they have all these problems. There could be mold and issues and all this. Let a flipper buy it, fix it up, make it nice, do it right, then sell it. Flippers need to be out there. So we need more encouragement to get more investors, more flippers to get out there, buy homes and fix them up, then sell them to first-time home buyers. Then sell them to maybe somebody that's a baby boomer, whatever, that is looking for hey, I want to move into a nicer new home. Everything's done so I can live out my final life. Or, hey, I'm young. I don't understand the game of, buying stuff and fixing it. I don't even want to do that. I'm busy with my kids and my life, my job, whatever. And I just want to move in with my furniture, my pictures and all that. That's what they want. Guys, not everybody wants to be a flipper or a wholesaler or a real estate investor. They just don't. They don't. So the housing stock is only going to get older and older. What solutions are we going to have? It's getting more challenging to get insurance on it. It's getting more challenging to get financing on it, right? I mean, let's be honest here. We're eventually not going to be able to insure these properties. So we need the local governments to allow people to fix it up, let them do their things, support them. How can you support them? I don't know. Figure out some programs, figure out some financing, whatever. But if flippers are coming in and making these shitty, dilapidated properties nice, we can pass them to new families, new investments, new renters, all that stuff. And it's a win-win for everybody. That is the world we live in. And that's what we need to do about these dilapidated homes. I just have to get that point across because that's all I'm going to say. All right, so Redfin, Gen Z home ownership rate stagnated in 2023, but millennials and Gen Xers saw gains. Okay, 26% of adult Gen Xers owned a home in 2023, little change from 2022. Meanwhile, the homeownership rate for millennials rose from 55% from 52, and the rate for Gen X climbed to 72 from 70. Still, most adult Gen Zers are tracking ahead of where their parents were at the same age. That's likely because many Gen Z homeowners were able to buy when rates were near low. Good old AOL, American Online. First-time homebuyers in today's market are older and wealthier, but often need help from family and luck and location. The lack of sufficient savings for a down payment makes it difficult to qualify for mortgage in today's market, said Susan Watcher, a real estate professor at Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. To make up the difference, about 35% of first-time homebuyers are getting financial help from family members, according to a new survey from Consumer Affairs. Contributions range from as little as $100 to as much as $990,000. Woo! The median gift was $6,800, while the average was $41,400. About 16% of all participants said their families were contributing $10,000 or more. 11% said they were giving at least $20,000, and 7% said they're getting $50,000 or more. So if you're somebody that is in this category where your parents are going to help you with the gift, whether it's $10,000, $20,000, $40,000, or $990,000, I have had some people give some very big amounts. I have. Here's a couple things to think about. Number one, do you need to have that money in your bank account before you start the loan? No. Number two, can a family member gift you the money? Yes. What's the best way for a family member to gift you the money? Send it to you? No. Send it directly into escrow when you're getting ready to close. Can the family member gift you all the money, closing costs, everything? Yes, they can. Can the family member gift you reserves? No, they most likely cannot. So a lot of people think they have to have the money in their bank account, or they have to, be ready with it. No. Literally, when you sign loan docs and then you go to wire your money in, the family member can wire it straight in escrow. Why do you do that? Because if they wire you the money into your account, then we got to go show their account and that it came into yours. And you see, it's a big old paper trail mess. So just make it clean. Plus, some family members don't want to show their bank account. They have to. So have them wire the money directly into escrow. It's the easiest thing ever. If you have questions about that, contact your lender or contact me. All right. So Ivy Zelman. You guys don't know, look her up. Very good housing expert. Was on CNBC. Let's have a little soundbite, little clip, and see what she had to say about the housing market, her thoughts. They talk about rates, inventory.
2024, the year of the housing market rebound. Joining us now is Zelman and Associates Executive Vice President Ivy Zelman. Welcome back, Ivy. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
How much are you reading into this better data on housing, and how strong of a rebound do you see?
Well, actually, looking backward, because December, obviously, we saw that improvement. I think the more important point is to really look at what we're seeing right now, which is continued, I think, seasonally better than expected momentum in January. And we're looking for what it is anecdotally looking like a strong start for the spring selling season. And really, two important points to think about is affordability and inventory. So that's where we're focusing, but there's strong momentum to start the year, and we ended the year on a strong note.
Affordability is a little bit better, right, thanks to the drop in mortgage rates. What about inventories?
Well, existing home sales, it's interesting, finished 23 at pretty much recessionary lows, but home prices were up roughly 6%. So even with the drop in rates, affordability is still well above trend line. I think on the other hand, for the home builders, they're providing more incentives, so affordability is a little bit better. But given the strength of the economy and continued strong job growth, I think that there's a lot of cash buyers out there, and there's still good demand, even with limited inventory in the market, which is benefiting pricing. We think pricing will slow. It will still grow, but it's going to slow because listings, importantly, are increasing. And even though they're modestly increasing year over year, they've been at historic lows. And I think people are just tired, Sarah, of waiting. They're like, I want to move.
Yeah. Well, they heard Ivy Zelman. Anyways, guys, that's a little wrap up. Want to share the video. If you never heard of her, she's been around a while predicting the housing market. But anyways, again, another economist that focuses on housing, commercial, and residential, clearly saying that we're not getting the inventory we need. There is a little bit of pickup, but guys, let's be honest, it's a joke. We're still in a housing recession. Yeah, we are in a housing recession. This is going to be the third year we're going to have low inventory. Even though rates came from 8 to 6.5%, we're seeing the pickup. We're seeing refinances. We're seeing the pickup and all that stuff. So anyways, that's it. That's what I got for you this week. But we will continue to watch the data, continue to watch the rates. There's a lot of stuff that's going to come out over the next few weeks. With today, obviously the Fed talking this week, we'll see where that clears up. But there's a lot of stuff going on. So look, if you're happy with the rate, lock the rate in. Don't play the rate game trying to chase it down. The market's very, very flat right now. It's going to take some, maybe something out of the Fed's mouth or some data to really move rates down, make it a lot better and easier for us. But we'd love those spreads to come down, wouldn't we? Anyway, so hey guys, appreciate you watching. Have a great week. Until next week, I will catch you. But remember, if you need anything, if I can help you, please reach out. Whether it's a conversation about real estate, want me to look at some loan estimate you got from somebody else, you're looking to buy your first home, you're looking to buy your first investment property, or you just have a general real estate question or something else, please reach out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.